In the late 1950s, a single company held the patent for the integrated circuit, the exact technology that makes modern computing possible. Yet today, that company has completely vanished. The company responsible for seeding a $3 trillion hardware ecosystem was dismantled by its own corporate parents. The story starts with a rebellion. 8 highly specialized researchers, the Traitorous 8, were working under William Shockley, a brilliant physicist who managed his lab through extreme paranoia and lie detector tests. To do actual engineering, they had to escape. Pooling their resources, these 8 men met in a hotel and signed a $1 bill as a makeshift contract to start their own independent enterprise. They succeeded in escaping a scientific dictator, but their new enterprise walked into a financial arrangement that would eventually tear the company apart. The men didn't have the capital to build a factory, so they secured funding from Sherman Fairchild, an East Coast industrialist whose parent company, Fairchild Camera and Instrument, operated out of Syosset, New York. His firm was deeply rooted in traditional, paper-heavy, mid-century bureaucracy. This 3D diagram shows the exact reason Fairchild was so profitable: the planar process. By laying silicon and protective oxide completely flat, instead of building microscopic vertical structures, they created a highly reliable design that allowed for mass production. But early production was brutal. The manufacturing process was so delicate that entire batches would regularly fail, plagued by microscopic flaws and short circuits that repeatedly threatened to bankrupt the division. To solve these manufacturing bottlenecks before automation existed, they relied on intense manual labor. They opened a massive assembly plant in Shiprock, New Mexico, where Navajo women spent hours meticulously hand-wiring components under microscopes to get the failure rates down. The West Coast engineers and their assembly teams solved the manufacturing crisis through sheer iteration. Yet the Syosset executives explicitly refused to grant the key inventors any significant stock equity, turning a technical triumph into deep, unfixable cultural resentment. To pull the rebellious West Coast division into line, the parent company sent in a team of rigid executives from Motorola, internally nicknamed Hogan's Heroes. These new managers operated strictly in suits, ties, and top-down directives. This clashed with the meritocratic virage culture established by engineers like Gordon Moore, who preferred short sleeves, open doors, and solving complex physics problems on legal pads. The fatal blow landed in the form of a corporate reward. Syosset management approved a $300,000 bonus pool, but allocated it entirely to the new executives, bypassing the core visionaries who had actually built the Silicon division. That financial betrayal killed the internal culture. Realizing their work would never be valued or protected, leaders like Robert Noyce and Gordon Moore abandoned Fairchild entirely, taking their blueprints with them. As leaders fled, Fairchild fragmented. The founders weaponized Syosset's mismanagement, creating widespread employee equity and modern venture capital. They ensured they'd never be controlled by a parent company again, seeding dozens of new startups known as the Fairchildren. This corporate fragmentation directly birthed the hardware giants of today. Noyce and Moore incorporated Intel, bringing the flat, meritocratic culture they had always wanted into a company that now controls a vast share of global computing. The geographic fallout of this exodus physically built the infrastructure of the Santa Clara Valley, transforming quiet agricultural land into the densest concentration of wealth and engineering talent on the planet. The entirety of modern tech startup culture, the equity packages, the flat hierarchies, the venture funding, is an immune response. It was designed from scratch to ensure no technology company would ever be run like a 19th century factory again. Ultimately, the corporate homicide of Fairchild Semiconductor was an inside job. It was destroyed by a parent company that possessed the most valuable technology on Earth, but lacked the vision to understand what it meant. This death was the catalyst for what came next. Fairchild was destroyed, but its collapse provided the precise cultural and technical blueprint for the Silicon Valley ecosystem.